Today I'm gonna hit you with 6 different things you can do right now to stop foreclosure. And I'm not gonna just give you stupid advice like, you can just reinstate your loan by getting current on all your payments. That's worthless. I really wanna come alongside you. I wanna help encourage you, give you some creative, strategic things that you can do, not just to stop from losing your home, but how you can really get yourself ahead financially, create a great future for yourself and your family. So if that's what you came for, you came to the right place. I hope you'll consider subscribing down below, and we're gonna get into it right now. Number 1, I want you to consider upgrading your career. Now, as you drive down the street, you're gonna see all kinds of signs throughout the buildings that are saying they're hiring. Every company seems to be looking for work right now. Now, I'm not talking about going back to school so you can become a nurse or something. That's a great long-term goal. But for now, you've got to come up with a short-term solution. So if you're only earning $12 an hour, going to 14 could make a huge difference for you. So I want you to consider who's hiring right now. If you can go work for Amazon, what you can do to get your income up just a couple bucks an hour could make a huge difference for you by making a small upgrade on your career. Number 2, can you take on an extra job? Now, before you tune me out, you're in foreclosure, you're facing a crisis. This is a major event and you've got to do what you can to get that income up. So in addition to upgrading your career, can you take on an extra job? I guarantee you there's a few more hours in the week that you can work as a side hustle to stop the foreclosure. Can you go get a job working with Uber and driving a few hours a week? Can you go ride your bike delivering for DoorDash? Can you go work for Amazon a few hours in the evening or wash dishes at a restaurant? I guarantee there's a few hours in the week that you can find for the sake of stopping the foreclosure. And I promise your kids will miss you, but they will appreciate it so much more and respect your hustle and grind from doing what it takes to keep their home, even if it means missing their mom and dad. Number 3, I want you to reprioritize your expenses. Now, part of the struggle in foreclosure is that people have to really come to grips with the reality that the bank will take your home. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of in denial. They're like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work somehow. But the reality is the bank's gonna get paid eventually. If you don't believe me, you can just ask the thousands of people that foreclosed on in the last Great Recession. So it's a real thing and it will happen. If you've got things like a Netflix subscription, cable TV, you're going out to eat, you're buying clothes, things like that, you're quite literally trading the little luxuries of right now for the long-term success of your family. So I just want you to imagine yourself for a second. Imagine that you're homeless. Imagine that your kids are homeless. You have to eat in a soup kitchen every night of the week. That's going to be the reality, or you can shift your priorities, you can remargin your own life, and you can cut some of those expenses that aren't necessary in the short term so that you can get ahead in the long term. You need to start by paying for your housing and for your utilities, then for food, then transportation, and then everything else. If you've got money left over for cable or Netflix or eating out, that's great. But for now, again, you're in a crisis mode. You have to stop the foreclosure, and cutting your expenses is the number 1 way to do that. Number 4 is you've got to ditch debt. Now, I understand I've been in a stage of life where we were just racking up credit card debt left and right because we felt like that was our lifeline. We felt like it was the only way that we're gonna be able to keep our heads above water, right? It's a lie, and you've got to cut the debt if you're going to get ahead, because really you're digging a hole at the same time that you're trying to climb out of it. It just doesn't work. So don't get the payday loans, don't be putting money on credit cards. You've got to stop the bleeding in order to heal from the financial situation that you're in. Number 5 is forbearance and repayment options. Now, I've intentionally put this one as number 5 because I want you to focus on getting your income up, taking on an extra job, cutting your expenses, and getting rid of debt as much as possible. Because if you don't do those things first, nothing else really will matter for you. So let's talk about the repayment options that you do have after you've done all of those things. First of all, you're really just gonna need to talk to your lender. You probably already understand this, but they wanna work with you to create a solution that's gonna enable you to make their payments. Obviously, they wanna get paid and you don't wanna lose your home. They actually don't wanna foreclose on you either because it costs them a lot of money. So talk to your lender, they'll give you the best options. I'm not even gonna try and tell you which ones are best for you, but what I will say is I want you to make sure you understand all of the terms, that you're not making a decision out of emotion or fear, and really make sure you understand the long-term ramifications. I've seen clients that have taken on a second mortgage, for example. So the amount that they were behind, they just rolled that into a second mortgage. They were building interest, accruing interest against that, but they weren't paying it down, for example. So if you have a balance that you're not paying down, but you're getting interest, again, you're just digging a hole. You probably want to avoid those kinds of options. There's also other loan programs where they'll just extend the life of the loan. So instead of having a 30-year mortgage, that you've only got maybe 20 years left on, they'll renew the loan for an entire 40 years. So that's going to double the length of loan that you've got. Not an option that I would do if you can all avoid it. Lengthening the length of the loan is really going to just stretch out those payments you have to make. And obviously you want to get that home paid off as quickly as possible. So just talk to your lender, make sure you get the best terms and the best products for you. Finally, number 6, selling your home. Now, I cannot stress to you enough, this is my last resort option, and I want you to try and avoid it at all possible costs. Yes, I'm an agent. Yes, I'd be happy to help you sell your home, but I want you to be able to stay in that home. I want you to be able to avoid foreclosure at all costs. If you do the first 5 things that I said, most likely you're going to be able to do that. But for some, they're still not going to be able to stop the foreclosure quickly enough. And so if that's you, just know that you've probably got options. In the last several years, home values have gone up so much that you've probably got some equity in your home you might not have even known about. If you don't know what equity is, it's basically works like this. Let's say we can sell your home for $300,000, and between the selling costs and paying off your current mortgage, let's say that's $250,000. That would mean you've got $50,000 left over in equity. So after you sell your home, you'll get a check from the closing for $50,000 or whatever that equity amount is for you. It's probably greater than you think. So if you've done all of the other things and you can't stop the foreclosure quickly enough and the bank's going to be taking it away, definitely don't just let it go to the bank. Don't just give up and let them foreclose it. You want to try and sell that home at all possible. We can do a short sale if you're not going to have any equity, but usually people have a little bit of equity. You can sell the home, you can walk away with some cash, you could then potentially pay off some debt, get rid of that credit card bill, you can get yourself back on your feet financially with that equity, and so it can actually be a great option. You would then rent for a few years perhaps. You won't have wrecked your credit from the foreclosure, and then once you're ready again, then you can buy again down the road when it's a good time for you. Potentially that's going to mean for you being able to move cities or move neighborhoods, get closer to family, take a job in another area that you've always wanted to go to or somewhere that you've dreamed about. It can have some big upside, but just know that's one option to avoid foreclosure. If you'd like to know how much equity you've got in your home, feel free to reach out. My contact info is down below. It's totally free, and I'd be happy to help you walk through those options and see how we can avoid foreclosure for you. You're also going to want to know what the market's doing, so check out this market update video that I've got right here, and I've also got a whole playlist for people thinking about buying and selling in Minnesota. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.